What's up, you guys? This is Robert at Shy Bears Plus on Twitter, also on Instagram, Shy Bears Plus. We're coming at you with some recent Bears news and opinions. Hope you like. Let's get right to it. Adam Shaheen, tight end for the Bears, got injured in the game this past weekend. Turned out to be just a rolled ankle. I've had rolled ankles. I know they don't feel good, but it doesn't look as serious as it could have been. Could have been a knee, could have been high ankle, could have been extremely severe. So things are looking good, and I wasn't overly concerned. I feel like that we have a ton of depth at the tight end position. That being said, I know that we have a ton of weapons, and I'm expecting this offense to grow with or without him, but I do feel like he is a player on the upswing, up arrow, if you will. Also, Leonard Floyd, turns out that he had broke a bone in his hand, and allegedly he immediately had surgery, and I guess it's not alleged, it's confirmed, and he should be ready for week one against Green Bay, and we are going to need all the pass rush we can get to be chasing down Aaron Rodgers and the crew. Hopefully we can find a way to put him on his back and not have a helmet roll. Anyway, that's for another video. Finally, DeAndre Hall violated the league rules, and he's going to be missing week one. This is the second time in probably the last year. I think it might have been March of 2017. He had a public intox. So 2 strikes. I don't know how many strikes a guy gets with the Bears these days. But I mean, we're looking at a guy who's fighting for a backup position on the roster. I don't root against anybody, and I think the kid could play, man. I know that in one of the games where he did play, I think that was 2 weeks ago. I mean, he was making big hits. He was showing up on tape. I've always liked him. Always felt like he's flashed when we do see him play in the preseason. So it's a guy that I really want to see more of, hoping that he could grow. Plus any of our young safeties that can provide some depth and give us a little leverage when we have to re-sign Amos is always a good thing, that's for sure. But finally, I guess my final point would be these injuries, not all of them, but at least the Leonard Floyd one has really kind of got me down on the Bears and worried about how they're going to get pressure. So I was kind of taking a look at some stats. It looks like last year they had 42 sacks. I guess that was good for 7th in the league with 42 sacks. The league leader was Pittsburgh with 56. And interceptions, they were 29th. And they had 8 picks. Baltimore had the most, looked like, with 22. So hopefully I got those correctly. So we found a way with Leonard Floyd losing some time last year, creating some pressure. It all works together. It's all a cohesive thing where synergistic, maybe, if you will. You have your front 7 creating pressure, which leads to more chaos in the backfield, quarterbacks not being on time, not being accurate, scrambling, making bad decisions, making them think quicker, which would lead to more interceptions. We've had more of an interception problem than a pressure problem. I don't have the numbers on the total pressures. If you know offhand, go ahead and leave that in the comments. But we had a top 10 D, so I don't know what to think. Also, get at me in the comments. Do we have enough pass rush from the interior? I'll tell you what, that Iggy kid, he looks like a guy you could probably get after a pass rusher. He looks like a pass rusher. I know he's a backup middle. Trevathan can get at from the inside. Roquan Smith, back in college, was able to disrupt from the middle. Fangio last year found a way to get to the quarterback and make disruptions with running stunts and twists. Hicks gets a ton of penetration. So does Goldman. But I would love to see a situation where we're getting pressure from the outside on both sides. I'm not sold on Acho as a full-time player. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. And Floyd would be our premier pass rusher. the one guy who has the athleticism, who can, you know, beat you with speed on the outside, bend the edge, flip the hips, get to the quarterback, and doesn't need a whole lot of help from anybody else. And your pass rushers, my favorite kind of pass rusher, when I'm looking at tape of guys, I'm hoping the Bears are going to draft. I do a little bit of, looking at the old draft breakdown on YouTube and things. And I like a guy who isn't just getting to the quarterback out of pure motor, a guy who has good get off and can beat their man one-on-one out of pure athleticism and some technique. And Floyd's probably the only guy on the team who could do that off of the edge on our team consistently. And we need that young man to be healthy. So I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm not down per se, but I am not 100% all in on this being a playoff contender. But it's crazy because it changes from week to week with me, and I drink the Bears Kool-Aid, so much of it, so much Kool-Aid. So it's hard for me to lower my expectations because I always want the beloved to be number one. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for sticking with me. Bears, can't wait for week one. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. I also post some memes, do a little satire, some snarky comments, do some solid retweeting. Follow me at Shy Bears Plus. My name's Robert. You can also follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of those same images and gifs and things like that. Shy Bears Plus on the IG. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and hopefully we will see you soon with some more Bears content.